when, when it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds. Imagine that. Imagine that. That statement, really a part of a song, a slave song from the 18th century, was inspired by a statement in Genesis. In Genesis, we are told that rain had persisted so unrelentingly that people thought it would never cease. In an attempt to put the people at ease, God put a rainbow in the sky. That's in Genesis. Now, we know that suns and moons and stars and all sorts of illuminations are always in the firmament. However, clouds can so lower and lower that you can't see the light. But if God puts a rainbow right in the clouds, that means at the worst of times, in the meanest of times, in the most cruel and critical times, there's a possibility of seeing hope. In the 19th century, late 18th, early 19th century, some African-American poet, a lyricist, probably a woman, I'm not sure about that, said that God put the rainbow not just in the sky, but in the clouds themselves. I am delighted to be here with you because I know you are rainbows in the clouds. That's who you really are. You have no idea the power you have. I mean, you do have some idea because of how many thousands of you have come to make friends and see old friends and make new friends, and to encourage each other to continue with some sass, some idea of flair, continue with some passion, some compassion, some humor and some style. That's who you are. It delights my heart to encourage you to continue. I am here because I've had rainbows in my cloud. Imagine that there are people whose lives you have changed. You have enhanced the possibility of seeing light, seeing hope, seeing opportunity, because you care that much. You have enough courage. I'm sure that courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. You can be anything erratically: kind, fair, true, generous, merciful, all that erratically. But to be that thing time after time, to tell you how grateful I am, and to remind you that you are rainbows in the clouds. Please take this poem and see that it is written for you. We, this people, on a small and lonely planet, traveling through casual space, past aloof stars, across the way of indifferent suns, to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking, when we release our fingers from fists of hostility, when the curtain falls on the minstrel show of hate and faces sooted with scorn are scrubbed clean, when battlefields and coliseum no longer rake our unique and particular sons and daughters up from the bruised and bloody grass to lay them in identical plots in foreign soil. When we come to it, when we let the rifles fall from our shoulders and our children can dress their dolls in flags of truce, when childhood dreams are not kicked awake by nightmares of sexual abuse, when we come to it, then we will confess that not the pyramids with their stones set in mysterious perfection, nor the gardens of Babylon hanging as eternal beauty in our collective memory, not the Grand Canyon kindled into delicious color by western sunsets, not the Danube flowing its blue soul into Europe, nor the sacred peak of Mount Fuji stretching to the rising sun, neither Father Amazon nor Mother Mississippi, who without favor nurture all creatures in their depth and on their shores. Those are not the only wonders of the world. When we come to it, we, this people, on this minuscule globe, who reach daily for the blade, the dagger, and the bomb, yet who petition in the dark for tokens of peace. We, this people, on this mote of matter, in whose mouths abide cankerous words which challenge our very existence, yet out of those same mouths can come songs of such exquisite sweetness that the heart falters in its labor and the body is quieted into awe. We, this people, on this floating island, whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling life is sapped from the living. Yet those same hands can touch with such healing, irresistible tenderness that the haughty neck is happy to bow and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, of such contradiction, we learn we are neither devils nor divines. When we come to it, we, this people, on this wayward floating body, created on this earth, of this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we come to it, we must confess that we are the possible. We are the true. We are the miraculous. We. When it looked like the sun wasn't going to shine anymore, when we say, I am grateful to be a rainbow in somebody's cloud. Thank you.